Hello YouTube. Oh my gosh, I'm like so excited about today's video because I'm going to be sharing with you the 4 glaring signs that your manifestations are speeding up on its way to you. When I first learned about manifestation, I wish that I knew the signs. I wish that I knew what was happening so that I could actually acknowledge what was coming into my world. But it took me quite a while to acknowledge and see that, the things that I want are already on its way to me. Like, it took a while for my mind to click. So it wasn't necessarily and it's not necessarily that a lot of people are not good at manifesting. And it's not necessarily that a lot of people are slow at manifesting. But I do realize that a lot of people are slow at realizing that the manifestations are already on its way. It's already happening. And so I've created this video to share with you the 4 signs that it is already happening so that you can already see your confirmations that are on its way. So it makes it so much easier for you to acknowledge and recognize, oh my gosh, like you can even just like go out and celebrate for a moment right now, because that's how quick it can happen. That's like, it's literally in your world right now. And if you even like resonate with one or several of the things, the signs that I'm sharing with you today, like hallelujah, it's already on its way, okay? So I noticed that, one of the biggest reasons why we don't acknowledge that it's happening is because our minds have been trained to only recognize things when it's only become a thing. So we'll tell ourselves, and this is how like things usually happen. It's like, it's not a thing until it is a thing. It's not a thing until it is a thing, right? So until we see it as a thing, we don't know what to call it. It's like just something that's like murky and muddled and, in the process, but it's not really a thing yet. So that's usually how we respond to, our process and our manifestations. It's like, well, if the manifestation is not a thing yet, is it really even valid? Has it even happened? So I want to use the analogy of like, heating up water. If you've only been conditioned to know that water is hot only by judging it by its appearance, right? So only knowing that water is hot when it reaches a boiling point, so like 100 degrees Celsius. When it reaches a boiling point and then you see that the water is boiling and then you know it's hot, chances are you're going to hurt yourself. You put your finger in the water and realize that actually the water has been heating up the whole time. The water is already hot. Even without having to reach a boiling point, it's already hot. But a lot of times we don't identify, it's like this in this analogy, we don't identify that the water is hot until we see it boiling. But it doesn't mean that it's not hot. Like, does it mean that I'm not going to hurt myself if I put my hand in the water? No. It just means that the physical appearance has not changed yet. The state has not changed yet, but the energy of the fire has continued to be transferring into the water. The heat energy is already going into the water particles. And as a result of that, you will feel if you put your hand in the water, you are going to burn yourself. So this is, this is a clear example of how something doesn't have to change physical state before you know that it's already happening, okay? So I am going to dive into the 4 signs now. Are you ready? And by the way, do not forget to hit the subscribe and bell button. And also, if you like this video, make sure you press the like button as well, so that I know you like this kind of content moving forward. So without further ado, let's begin. Very first sign that I've noticed has been happening in my world, and my friends who have been manifesting crazy things, my clients who've been manifesting crazy things, is that things just fall into your lap. Like, things just happen. Things just like come into your world, and you get the opportunities, or you get the things, whether if it's like opportunities, whether if it's offers, whether if it's money, whether if it's like tools, whether if it's like things that you need, like physical things that you need, without even having to ask, without even needing it in the first place. It's like that the universe is already answering your questions. It's already like providing the things for you before you even know that you needed it in the first place. People are coming into your life, helping you left and right. People are, they're coming into your life, and they don't necessarily stay, but they're here to help you. They're here to give you the answer, or direct your path, or give you a message, or give you the resources to help you, and then they'll leave. So it's not necessarily that you get a lot of people coming into your life, but you will find that there are a lot of angels or helpers that meet you along the way, that just guide you to where you need to go. That is the very first sign. You get the things that you need without having to ask. You get people coming to your life without asking them to come in, and they're here to give you answers and guidance and resources that you need to move forward. So the second sign that your manifestations are happening really, really quickly is that your setbacks don't seem to bother you as much. Now, if you look at a time in your past, or probably not so distant past, you will realize that there was a time in your life you were probably really upset and frustrated. You were easily irritated. You're easily discouraged. You easily feel bad about yourself when something didn't happen in the way that you wanted. But right now, even though those things still happen, right? Like, there's still misfortunes, or there's still like inconveniences that happen. There are still roadblocks that flare up like in your path. But your response to those events have changed. You probably don't get as worked up. You don't get as frustrated. You don't get as discouraged the same way that you used to. So what's happening right here is that your inner alignment and your alignment to your vision has turned on so much. Like, it's so hyped up, it's so lit, it's so clear that the interference doesn't mean as much as it used to for you. And you're no longer giving as much importance, you're no longer giving as much focus to what those interference have to mean for you, so that you're not giving as much like focus when something is not happening the way you want to. That is a glaring sign, number 2, that your manifestations are speeding up for you. So the third thing I'm about to share with you is a little hard to experience. What happens for a lot of people when their manifestations are speeding up, and also especially for me, is I'll realize that some doors will just slam shut in my face. like it actually happens that way. It slams shut in my face so that I cannot open that door again. But what ends up happening is when that door slams shut, you redirect your focus and you're like, well, I have to go somewhere. Another door opens, and it kind of forces you to turn towards the open highway, where you know that the open highway is the solution, it is the faster way, it is the highway, and there's like no other option to take that than to take that highway. And this is where your vision becomes really undeniable, because the doors that don't align with you slam shut. It's no longer an option, and you turn towards the ways that are undeniable, and like it's just so in your face, so clear, so defined, that you know that it is your path, and the only thing you have to do is just walk it. Like, it comes to a point where you can't even hide. You can't even run away, and you can't even ignore, because it's like so in your face that it'll just keep popping up everywhere. So this is the third sign, even though this is like really hard for a lot of people, because, there was also a time in my life where I was in denial. Like, I really want this to work. I want the old doors to work. I want the old doors. I was trying to open the old doors again. But allowing myself to just see the open highway and acknowledge that, you know what, this is the next path that I'm going to take, and I'm not going to look back. I'm not going to try to force the old paths to open up again. It allowed me to speed through whatever it is that I need to experience to get to where I want to be. So the fourth thing that happens when your manifestations are speeding up is that your trust starts to open up, right? So probably in the past, you will feel like really hesitant in like taking steps forward, or you will take steps forward, but at the same time, you're like really like reluctant. You're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting in like what's going to happen in the future. You have anxious thoughts about like what lies ahead. But when your manifestations are speeding up, you have undeniable trust, unshakable trust in yourself, in the path that you are going. So even though you don't have all the answers, you probably don't even know exactly where you're going, but you have faith in the several next steps that you need to take. And you feel so much groundedness and calm and peace in just walking those steps and following through and just being willing to find out what comes after. And so there's this quality of like a general openness and this trust to the universe that it will take care of you. You will be okay. And so as a result of that, you are able to take those next few steps, like just ahead of you, without hesitation. And this is the thing that helps you move with great speed, because when your manifestations are picking up, when things are like happening to you really quick, it doesn't give you the time to overthink. And when you're not overthinking, and when you're just like responding to events, responding to people, responding to the next steps, purely just by your feelings and instincts, and you do what you know you need to do, and you just continue to follow through, it's going to continue to happen so much faster for you. So after having shared all the 4 signs with you, please let me know in the comments which one resonated with you the most, which one is already like happening in your life and you're like, oh my gosh, like all these 4 signs are like glaring in my face. My hope in this video is to give you the encouragement and to give you the motivation and to help you acknowledge for yourself that your manifestations are already it's already happening fast. It is your acknowledgement, not other people telling you that it's happening, but your own acknowledgement to see that it is happening for you. So how you interpret and how you perceive your manifestations happening for you is the most important thing in the world. So with that said, I hope you enjoy this video. Tell me which ones are happening for you in the comments, and also don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next video.